Hello everyone, it's me, the owner of the DV Max Fish channel. I know that I sound young, it's because I am, yeah. So, I just want to clear the fact that happy Halloween. I'm actually editing this video the day before Halloween, so that's why. And also I just want to tell you that for this Halloween special, this Halloween day, ever since I like doing creepypastas, I'm going to be hiring some people here to narrate my favorite book, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, during elementary school, I was a big fan of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I was scared of the movie and the books because of the creepy illustrations and the creepy stories, plot twists and stuff. So I thought maybe I should just do a narration. I should just hire some people to make some narrations. It's not gonna be one person. It's gonna be multiple people. It's not just gonna be one person. It's gonna be more than one person for each chapter. One person narrates this one and then a second person narrates this one. It's 2 and 2. So without further ado, let's get started with the first story. I hope you guys enjoy it.
The Babysitter.
It was 9 o'clock in the evening. Everybody was sitting on the couch in front of the TV. There were Richard, Brian, Jenny, and Doreen, the babysitter. The telephone rang. "Maybe it's your mother," said Doreen. She picked up the phone. Before she could say a word, a man laughed hysterically and hung up. "Who was it?" asked Richard. "Some nut," said Doreen. "What did I miss?" At 9:30, the telephone rang again. Doreen answered it. It was the man who had called before. "I'll be there soon," he said, and he laughed and hung up. "Who was it?" the children asked. "Some crazy person," she said. About 10 o'clock, the phone rang again. Jenny got it first. "Hello," she said. It was the same man. "One more hour," he said, and he laughed and hung up. "He said 1 more hour. What did he mean?" asked Jenny. "Don't worry," said Doreen. "It's somebody fooling around." "I'm scared," said Jenny. About 10:30, the telephone rang once more. When Doreen picked it up, the man said, "Pretty soon now," and he laughed. "Why are you doing this?" Doreen screamed, and he hung up. "Was it the guy again?" asked Brian. "Yes," said Doreen. "I'm going to call the operator and complain." The operator told her to call back if it happened again, and she would try to trace a call. At 11 o'clock, the telephone rang again. Doreen answered it. "Very soon now," the man said, and he laughed and hung up. Doreen called the operator. Almost at once she called back. "The person is calling from a telephone upstairs," she said. "You'd better leave. I'll get the police." Just then, a door upstairs opened. A man they had never seen before started down the stairs towards them. As they ran from the house, he was smiling in a very strange way. A few minutes later, the police found him there and arrested him.
A businessman arrived at the hotel late one night and asked for a room. The room clerk told him the hotel was all filled up. "There's only one empty room," he said, "but we don't rent that one out because it's haunted." "They'll take it," said the businessman. "I don't believe in ghosts." The man went up to his room. He unpacked his things and went to bed. As soon as he did, a ghost came out of the closet. Its fingers were bleeding and moaning. Bloody fingers, bloody fingers. When the man saw the ghost, he grabbed his things and ran. The next night, a woman arrived very late. Again, all the rooms were taken except for the haunted one. "I'll sleep there," she said. "I'm not afraid of ghosts." As soon as she got into bed, the ghost came out of the closet. Its fingers were still bleeding. It was still moaning. "Bloody fingers, bloody fingers." And the woman took one look and ran. A week later, another guest arrived very late. He also took the haunted room. After he unpacked, he got out his guitar and began to play. Soon, the ghost appeared. As before, its fingers were bleeding and it was moaning, "Bloody fingers, bloody fingers." The man paid no attention. He just kept strumming his guitar. But the ghost kept moaning and its fingers kept bleeding. Finally, the guitar player looked up. "Cool it, man," he said. "Get yourself a Band-Aid."
High beams.
A senior high school student lived on a farm about 8 miles away and used her blue sedan car to drive back and forth. The girl drove into town one night to see a basketball game. The girl then drove back home after the game, but as she pulled away from the school, she noticed a red pickup truck follow her out of the parking lot. A few minutes later, the truck was still behind her. The girl thought that they were going in the same direction, and she soon began to watch the truck in her mirror. When she changed her speed, the driver of the truck changed his speed. When she passed a car, so did he. Then he turned on his high beams, flooding her car with light. He left them on for almost a minute. "He probably wants to pass me," she thought. But she was becoming uneasy. Usually she drove home over the back road. Not too many people went that way. But when she turned into that road, so did the truck. "I've got to get away from him," she thought, and began to drive faster. Then he turned on his high beams again. After a minute, he turned them off. Then he turned them on again, and off again. She drove even faster, but the truck stayed right behind her. Then he turned his high beams on again. Once more, her car was ablaze with light. "What is he doing?" she wondered. "What does he want?" Then he turned them off again. But a minute later, he had them on again, and left them on. At last she pulled into her driveway, and the truck pulled in right behind her. She jumped from the car into the house. "Call the police!" she screamed at her father. Out in the driveway, she could see the driver of the truck. He had a gun in his hand. When the police arrived, they started to arrest him, but he pointed at the girl's car. "You don't want me," he said. "You want him." Crouched behind the driver's seat, there was a man with a knife. As the driver of the truck explained it, the man slipped into the girl's car just before she left the school. He saw it happen, but there was no way he could stop it. He thought about getting the police, but he was afraid to leave her, so he followed her car. Each time the man in the back seat reached up to overpower her, the driver of the truck turned on his high beams. Then the man dropped down, afraid someone might see him.
The slithery D. He came out of the sea. He ate all the others, but he didn't eat me. The slithery D. He came out of the sea. He ate all the others, but he didn't eat me.
A boy was digging at the edge of the garden when he saw a big toe. He tried to pick it up, but it was stuck to something. So he gave it a good, hard jerk. and it came off in his hand. Then he heard something groan, and he scampered away. The boy took the toe back to his home and into his kitchen, and after he showed it to his mother decided to put it into their stew and eat it for dinner. That night his father cut the toe into 3 pieces, and they each had a piece. After eating, the family cleaned their dishes and soon fell asleep when it got dark. The boy fell asleep almost at once. But in the middle of the night, a voice out in the street awakened him. The voice called to him, saying, "Where is my toe?" When the boy heard the voice, he became afraid. But he stopped when he started to believe that he was safe from it in his home. Then the boy heard the voice another time. The voice was closer, however, and it asked for its toe once more. The boy pulled the blanket over his head and closed his eyes upon hearing this, but soon he heard the back door open, and again he heard the voice, "Where is my toe?" It groaned. Then the boy heard footsteps move through the kitchen and into the dining room, into the living room, into the front hall. Then slowly they climbed the stairs. Closer and closer they came. Soon they were in the upstairs hall. Now they were outside his door. "Where is my toe?" the voice groaned. His door opened. Shaking with fear, he listened as the footsteps slowly moved through the dark toward his bed. Then they stopped. "Where is my toe?" the voice groaned. "You've got it."
While Ruth slept, a spider crawled across her face. It stopped for several minutes on her left cheek, then went on its way. "What is this red spot on my cheek?" she asked her mother the next morning. "Looks like a spider bite," her mother said. "It'll go away. Just don't scratch it." Soon the small red spot grew into a small red boil. "Look at it now," Ruth said. "It's getting bigger. It's sore." "That sometimes happens," her mother said. "It's coming to a head." In a few days, the boil was even larger. "Look at it now," Ruth said. "It hurts and it's ugly." "We'll have the doctor look at it," her mother said. "Maybe it's infected." But the doctor couldn't see Ruth until the next day. That night, Ruth took a hot bath. As she soaked herself, the boil burst. Out poured a swarm of tiny spiders from the eggs their mother had laid in her cheek.
There was a haunted house where every night a bloody head fell on the chimney. At least that's what people said, so nobody would stay there overnight. Then a rich man offered $200 to whoever would do it, and this boy said he would try, if he could have his dog with him. So it was all settled. The very next night, the boy went to the house with his dog. To make it more cheerful, he started a fire in the fireplace and sat in front and waited, and his dog waited with him. For a while, nothing happened, but a little after midnight, he heard someone singing softly and sadly out in the woods. The singing sounded something like this. Me tai do tai walker. It's just somebody singing, the boy told himself, but he was frightened. Then his dog answered the song. Softly and sadly it sang. Lynchy, Kinchy, Kali Mali, Dingo, Dingo. The boy could not believe his ears. His dog had never uttered words before. Then a few minutes later, he heard the singing again. Now it was closer and louder, but the words were the same. Me tai do tai walker. This time the boy tried to stop his dog from answering. He was afraid that whoever was singing would hear it and come after them. But his dog paid no attention and sang again. Lynchy, Kinchy, Kali Mali, Dingo, Dingo. A half hour later, the boy heard the singing again. Now it was in the backyard, and the song was the same. Me tai do tai walker. Again, the boy tried to keep his dog quiet, but the dog sang louder than ever. Lynchy, Kinchy, Kali Mali, Dingo, Dingo. Soon the boy heard the singing again. Now it was coming down the chimney. Me tai do tai walker. The dog sang right back. Lynchy, Kinchy, Kali Mali, Dingo, Dingo. Suddenly, a bloody head fell out the chimney. It missed the fire and landed right next to the dog. The dog took one look and fell over, dead from the fright. The head turned and stared at the boy. It slowly opened its mouth and...
So yeah, I guess that's it for scary stories to tell in the dark. I know that I already know that it's not a lot, but some voice actors did their best at doing the best they can to narrating these stories, and they did a pretty good job too. I would like to thank them, and I'd actually put their name in the credits at the end of this video. But yeah, these people have talents, and they deserve to be cherished with that. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and also happy Halloween.